even I started out wanting to be a writer director, and I just respecialized as a producer and then further respecialized as a producer's rep and exec as my career journey unfolded. But there were like 4 producing classes I could take in the entirety of my undergrad film school, and that is nowhere near enough.
No.
Um, it's a it's funny. I've actually spoken um with several friends who have kids who wanted to be producers as they were going to college, and most of them go to undergrad for business or pre-law, and then they go to a master's film program because it's that backing is just not really taught in any major film schools. There are a couple of it. Like I
It's
think Boston University has a pretty good program there, but outside of that, it's not a thing. And that's frankly part of why filmmakers find themselves in such an exploitable position, I think.
correct.
Yeah.
I agree. And quite frankly, I think that that's an excellent path,
Hmm.
is to learn law, the law, and entertainment law specifically.
Hmm.
And then after that, study the craft. You're just in the best position. Needless to say that you could obviously draft your own contracts and be in
Helps
a
a
very strong
lot.
position. Yes, and to be in a very strong position to negotiate. So you will not be fooled. So and I do have friends. Actually, there are many writers, Ben, that were attorneys, that
Mhm.
were attorneys that then made the jump. It's actually a quite common jump, from being a lawyer to a writer.
Mhm.
I don't know as many attorneys that go directly into directing, but there's certainly the path of an attorney then becoming a writer and then becoming a writer director. So I think that's more of the journey in terms of getting to directing. But I think it's critical. It's really smart. And if you're thinking about getting into the business, absolutely study the law.
Oh yeah. It's also I'm not a lawyer, much to my parents' chagrin, but I do have a decent understanding of the law that I use for to guide my own choices, but I also talk to lawyers a lot, and most of those lawyers do a ton of drafting, so it makes sense to move to being a writer in some degree.
Yes.
And also some of the best producers I know have some backing in law because the difference between a producer and a lawyer is sometimes a lot more thin than people would like to acknowledge. Of course, if your producer is not a lawyer, talk to a lawyer. But
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely. I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Again, the point is also be a student of the business.